What's your register number?
11097.
You're from?
I'm from Bangalore.
So recently, in Bangalore, yesterday, there was a lake fire. Why was that?
It's because of the garbage waste which is being leaked and disposed into the rivers and the lakes and the ponds in Bangalore city, and because of the chemical reactions over there and the pollution, it caught fire. And that really is it.
Which lake? So you're engineering, right?
Yes.
Information stuff, and you're working.
I was working in Infosys till 2014
As
as a software developer.
software developer. Fatima, why you want to join civil service? As so done engineering.
Yes.
It's a nice field, information science.
Yes.
So why you want to join civil service?
So civil services has been a passion of mine from a very long time, and I was posted to Chennai through Infosys for a while, and there I did have an opportunity to meet fellow aspirants over there, and I learned that there is how do I start grooming myself and preparing myself. I had opportunity to learn that, and so I started on that path. And I also, my father comes from a government background, and that is why I got to realize that this is the platform where maximum impact can be made to better the society, and I wanted to be part of that change.
So how will you better the society?
So I think with the skill sets that I have, I think that I will be positively able to contribute, because being an engineering background and understanding that today government is so much utilizing or using e-services and trying to make public utilities easier, better and more comfortable for the people. And I also have a management degree as well from IIMD. So utilizing the skill sets and the knowledge I have, I think I would be able to positively contribute.
You have a management degree from IIMD.
Yes, sir.
You have not mentioned this here.
Sir, this is the form that I filled in 2014, means the same I have filled now. I have done my management degree last year, just graduated now.
Okay. So you quit Infosys, after that you joined MBA.
Sir, I quit Infosys in 2014, and I wanted to give a full-time attempt. I've been giving attempts for UPSC as well. Wanted to give a full-time attempt, so I continued with that. Only last year, the 2016 year, I took up this course of MBA.
What you did? Which course?
It's a general management program for IT executives. So it's like a executive programs.
It's 1 year program?
1 year.
1 year.
1 weekend program.
Weekend programs.
So you know IM bill. Recently the government of India introduced IM bill. Recently government of India
Yes.
introduced IMB bill. That means IM Engineering Stock Management bills. You are aware of that?
Yes, sir. Briefly, I am aware of that, saying that they would like to bring all the autonomous institutions under the HRD ministry and give degrees like the normal management degrees can be given. That is what I know of it. And my opinion for that would be, sir, it is a trade-off between being autonomous for such institutions which are highly knowledge-based, skill-based, and who have a very good interaction with the private industry as well. Also towards the fact that being a part of the government, being associated with the government would also bring in a lot of support, funding, contribution and exposure, and also awarding students the degree as a proper MBA degree from these institutions would hold validity throughout India as well as abroad. So if there could be a good synergy between the government as well as the institutions, and they could work out a good platform for them, then I think it would be a positive initiative.
So why did you choose sociology?
Sir, when I started, computer science was not an optional that I had in the civil services or in Karnataka state services, so I had to look at other options. And sociology was a subject that I wanted to learn myself, because as from a science background, I didn't have an opportunity to learn that. And so learning the basics of society, how they are governed, would give me an opportunity to understand how the role of governance also comes in better. So I thought it would help me.
Okay. Okay, so you got an award from your distinct leadership on team lead for national award in science.
Yes.
So you are a team leader.
Sir, I was leading the team. Our team won the national award.
So why they got the award, the national award in science?
Sir, this was from the National Children's Science Congress. It every year conducts an annual research cum presentation program for science students to develop scientific temper among students. This was in school. And our team presented on the nutritional status of children. We studied about adolescent children in the age group of 10 to 15 years and to know what their nutritional status is. And then we presented that, we did research for it, we had a methodology and we did surveys on the field as well. And finally we had to present it at various levels, first the local level, at the district level, then state level and at the national level. And we were amongst the 10 projects that were selected all over India, we were one of them who won the national award.
Okay, fine. In India,
Yes.
the young girls,
Yes.
what are the nutrition they are deficient?
Sir, the common problem that girls in India are facing is anemic deficiency, iron and folic acid deficiency. Also that the neglect towards nutrition. Either if you were looking at adolescent girls from middle to upper income class groups, they have this consciousness, self-consciousness, awareness of them becoming fat and obese. So they neglect eating nutritious food and they go towards crazy diets. Or they have the towards going and eating junk foods which are not really giving them nutrition, or going on these diet-based things which is affecting them. But if you look at slum children on the other side, because of the family population on the sides and preference towards a male child, most often and not, they do not even get the nutrition that they require in terms of quantity and the quality.
Okay, you are voluntary in NGO for children's.
Yeah, what's that service?
What's the NGO name?
Youth for Seva.
Youth for Save.
It started in 2007, Bangalore based.
What's the vision and mission of that NGO?
The vision of that is to use voluntary volunteers to help solve the local problems of day-to-day life. The concept of this organization was to take students or even corporate volunteers or people in their free time and in the interest of whichever field they are interested in, to go and volunteer in their free time and do work in the choice of their school. They could volunteer in schools or in hospitals or work with disabled children. It is a very flexible base, specialized, customized for every individual. So that makes it easy.
Okay. So you are very good in volunteering.
Sir, I am doing my part.
Okay, fine. See, take a situation. Okay. There was India Government of India goal is there. 2022 electricity for all home. Do you know that?
Yes.
Okay. So take you're going to a grandma house. It's situated located in a Bidar. Okay, that's a village. So in village they won't use electricity.
True, sir.
Okay. True. It's a situation.
True, it's a situation that most of the electricity is not there. They're living without.
Okay, fine. So they won't use electricity because there is a rumor is there. They believe electricity is a ghost. Okay, because somebody died because of the road. So the last 30 years there is in the village there is no electricity. So you're going as a guest there. So evening everybody have food on 6 o'clock itself.
Yes.
Okay. So you came to know, they were wondering why people are having why there is no electricity, like that you were inquiring. Then they came to know, even though everything was there, infrastructure is there, but people are not using. Okay. So what do you do?
Sir, the first thing I would do is try to bring awareness, because that is the most important thing. By bringing in different stakeholders together in groups, smaller groups or bigger groups, try to tell them in various ways the importance of electricity and how this is just a superstition or a folk tale which has come along. Try to show them how much better their lives can be for using electricity. This I can do either by talking to them or giving them these street plays, folk plays, in a way that they can understand amongst them. Also bring in, maybe if possible, bring in some village elders or from the other who are known and respectable people. Even sometimes even DCs can contribute for that matter. Bring them there whom they respect and whose word they trust, and bring them to talk to them and encourage them to take up that initiative and see that for themselves that there is nothing wrong.
It's okay. Come to the tourism department.
Yes.
Okay. What are the initiatives you take for women empowerment in tourism?
So the first thing I think is important is to show and to make it measures which guarantee safety to tourists, especially women. Because in India, the perception as well as the reality is women are not very safe to go alone venture out, even in cities, even in Bangalore for that matter. So if you want to make tourism important, first thing is to ensure that there are safety measures working, implementable safety measures. Secondly, for foreigners, I think measures such as English-speaking tourist guides, also places where they can stay, which are up to the standards, which are international standards, such kind of homestays. These kind of smaller facilities, local level tourist guides who can speak and who can take them around in international languages, who know 2-3 languages, things like this.
So recently government of Karnataka, for the speaking language, English speaking language, they introduced one scheme. Do you know that scheme?
Sir, I'm sorry, I'm not aware of that. I would like to read that up.
Okay, fine. So you are selected DSP, that DOSP as a second option.
Yes.
Why?
So this is the second best post that I could think of, which would have a more opportunity for operation and service.
Okay. What kind of service you are expecting in there?
Expecting to do, sir, by having a woman represented in the police service is a very important, crucial aspect. One is because women's problems can be addressed. Secondly, visibility of women in such forces would encourage others to come and enjoy, because women's safety is a major issue.
Okay. What is your opinion about the recent debates to ban triple talaq?
Sir, this is an issue that has come up under Supreme Court's scrutiny, where triple talaq, nikah halala and polygamy are 3 cases that are being examined to see if the validity of this comes under the Indian Constitution. If these 3 acts can be taken out from the personal law and also viewed at it legally from the Indian Constitution perspective with regards to right of freedom of religion. So my view on that is that in India, it has been misused to quite an extent. The concept or the provision of a triple talaq in one sitting at one go has been misused, which has caused gross injustice to women in India. And if we were to see in the world perspective also today, triple talaq has been abolished by many countries who are having a liberal view on Islam. The concept of the validity itself was debated from the time of Imams, that is after Prophets. If it was valid or only the normal talaq procedure of 3 months gap is that valid. So it is all about the interpretation of Quran. It is not about, Quran by itself has not mentioned that triple talaq in this format alone. It is about interpretation. And I think that in India, Muslim Personal Law Board have not been interpreting Islam in a liberal, just and an open fashion. They have been holding on to a bit of parochialism and rigidity. And I think that needs to be changed.
Pakistan is following triple talaq.
It has abolished it.
Abolished or not following, are coming with some liberal thoughts in that one.
Sir, as far as I have read that it has abolished, but I will recheck that fact.
Okay, fine. So
you what you did in graduation in?
Sir, information science.
Okay. If you become an administrator, what one takeaway from this information science which you want to implement being an administrator, which will bring a substantial change for the people? Have you ever thought of it?
Yes, sir. I think one thing about information science is that it's the power of technology which you can bring to the people. Public service, as a public servant, the basic requirement is that we ease the public services to the people. And today, like Karnataka and India is pushing forward in that direction, maybe Digital India or many initiatives in Karnataka itself, which have eased public service delivery to the people. I think I would like to bring in as many aspects. One is digitizing schemes, initiatives, where the requirement there it is faster, affordable and transparent. Second is use information communication spread. In the sense, use mobile technology, social technology to spread out information so that people know they can avail these services and facilities from the government and avail it. And 3 is also the use of mobile banking services and other services to making it bankable and affordable. We're trying to get the money to the people at their doorsteps. Because that is also a very important part. And I think I'm happy that India is moving so forward towards each of these aspects today, and I would like to be a part of that.
Okay, if you are a DC of a particular district and there is one new initiative of government regarding women empowerment.
Yes.
So you wanted to popularize that initiative among the public of your district, and you are choosing one village, and most of the people in that village are illiterates. Okay? So what will be the best mode or medium you will use to publicize that particular initiative brought out by the government of India?
Sir, if I may, what kind of initiative would that be?
Anything pertaining to women empowerment.
Anything pertaining to women empowerment. Okay, if we were to take something like women education or some school like that, or some scheme where women can come in for school. So the first thing I would do is, I would like to bring in a panchayat meeting where first I would like to bring in all the major stakeholders, the panchayat heads, men and women included, to tell them that this is the government scheme and we would like to implement it. What would be your views about it? What do you think about it? Because initially I would like to know from their end what is their perception. Tell them the correct thing and have a perception meeting. Second, I would like to after that go on and systematically go to schools, to Anganwadi centers, to women gathering centers, to places where women can be gathered together and start percolating this information to them that this is the scheme, this is how it is, and to bring them on board. Thirdly, use say media of electronic technology, for example, to screen say a small cell kind of projector like a show. Call them in the evening and say we are going to have a show and show these kind of schemes, so that it is more visually appealing. They may even get attracted. They may want to adopt it. And if possible, try to get a role model, somebody who can come and represent and say that by doing this, you could probably become one thing like this. And after, finally, I think I would give an open feedback to them that they can come and approach as a DC anytime, whatever issues they are facing, so that those can be handled and more can be, women can come forward to that initiative.
Okay. Infosys.
Yes.
What is the recent issues going on in Infosys?
So the recent issue is about the management style practices of the new board when compared to the opinions of the founders or the promoters of the board. It is about how the founders are finding the way the new management is handling, say, severance pay, or the way people were laid off, or the new compensation given to the CEO. And my opinion for that is, sir, the industry has changed. The entire IT industry has changed now. And that the style of management also needs to change. And with the new board, who are not the founders, it is nice to see that they are bringing in new initiatives. They are turning the service-based company Infosys into a product-based company, investing in that, and having a strategy towards that. So maybe a bit of autonomy from the founders. Suggestions would be appreciated, but autonomy for them to give them a chance to implement their strategy and see how it goes would be a better.
Okay, so you're saying that the founders should not be advisors.
Founders should definitely be advisors because they have experience and they have seen how the company has gone.
Okay.
And also the rules and the values that the founders are telling, that transparency is important. That should definitely be a core. But the way of running the company has to be given a little more leeway.
Okay.
So do you find any difference between TABARAK FATHIMA and Infosys which happened of late? Both are of the same nature, where the founders had disagreement with the present chairman or managing director. So, but there are some stark differences between these two trustees. Can you identify some?
So, one of them being Tata Group is Tata Group as such has many subsidiaries under it. And it is one, Tata Group is the main head of it. Ratan Tata used to be the one heading it before. I think that feud is more related towards the management and the control of the board as to who should have it and what kind of policies should be implemented being there. I think Infosys is a more open and a more flexible system as far as I understand it. And I think here it was only about giving suggestions or giving some pointers as to why this is going wrong, and now the founders as well as the board members have come to an understanding and they are taking it forward. This was more on succession, how well is the new person actually following the Tata thing, and what about the different stakeholders, what was their inputs over there. So I think that was more on a succession line style of thing. So I still would like to look into these differences.
Okay.
You mentioned trekking in college. Yes. What was your one of the most memorable treks?
One of my most memorable treks was a night trek, one night trek at Ramnagar Hills. It was the first time I was going on a night trek, and so I had my own hindrances on that front. But what I realized is that if the preparation is right, if the group that you're going is right, and if you have taken the right legal roads and permissions for it, and your trail, the track trail is set, and if all of your preparations are right, it was one of the most memorable trips because in absolute darkness, with a group of people, you're walking through a jungle, climbing up a hill, and spending the night on the top of the hill, and the first ray of the sunlight hitting you from there. It was a spectacular beauty. So that was my most memorable.
Okay. In Karnataka, how many smart cities are there?
7.
7.
Smart
Can you
cities.
list?
6. I think it is 6. I'm sorry.
So, what can you list out 6 cities?
Belgaum, Tumkur, Hubli, Dharwad. I'm missing 3 more.
Bangalore is a smart city.
No.
Why it can't become a smart city?
So the concept of smart cities was 2, sir. One, the industrial corridor is being built as part of the Make India process, and they wanted to develop the tier 2 towns around the industrial corridors as smart cities. Not Bangalore by itself is already a big city, it is the tier 1 city and it is already having infrastructure. The focus of this was to develop tier 2 cities to a smart city level where infrastructure is there and technology is there.
So, Bangalore is have all infrastructures.
Bangalore is still better off. It is one of the top major cities.
If you say that Bangalore has all infrastructure,
Not
why
all.
you only said that? You only said that you have.
It is a tier 1 city, that is what I meant.
So you mean to say there is not even a single tier 1 city chosen as a smart city?
Sure, I am not aware of that. I don't think so. But this, as a vision concept which I read about the smart cities, it was to build up the tier 2 cities so that the employment generation as well as facilities could be provided there, which is in line with the industrial corridor.
What are the basic components of smart city?
So, providing infrastructure, street lighting, using technology for. I'm unable to recollect this, sir. I will definitely look it up.
So, name few famous sociologists from Karnataka.
Sir, M.N. Srinivas. That is
Karnataka.
from Karnataka, sir. I'm unable to recollect just one for now.
Okay. Because of 14th finance commission, the allocation to the social sector has been reduced. What's your opinion on that?
Sir, I think that is one aspect where we should focus, and we have not been focusing as a country too much. Health, education and welfare program measures, allocation for that in GDP has continuously been slowly reducing. I mean, it was 3%, now 2%. It has hovered around this area, whereas in many countries it is more than 4 or 5% of the GDP is allocated to this. And in a country with such a huge population, education and medical facilities are basic grounds for a healthy demographic dividend. So I think we should focus more on.
Okay, you support Kerala model development or Gujarat model development? What's your take?
Sir, I don't, because I need to see both of these models. I do not have a very good view on that yet. I have to look at that.
So you say that like Tamil Nadu, more freebies is a welcome steps rather than is it?
Sir,
They're spending more for welfare of the people. They're spending more money.
so welfare should be not about giving away amenities to people, because that is a short-term solution. But the actual solution is when you can address skilling them up and building up their capability to be able to provide for themselves. Then only they will be valued for their society, for their home, as well as be productive for the country. Spending more on improving our public health sector, spending more on improving our grassroots level schools, and bringing in world-class facilities for children, bringing in opportunity, employment, skilled opportunities for them. That is more important, because that is where the real development is.
Okay.
And one question.
Yes.
So, what's the difference between welfare, development, and empowerment.
Sir, I can take a minute on that.
Yeah.
So welfare is when a government or a system would like to bring in policies which would enable people to, for their goodness, for their well-being, the policies that are taken, that is the welfare measures. Development, it is both social sector as well as the economic sector, which means bringing in employment, also generating revenue growth on the employment side, on the revenue side, as well as the social sector, seeing that their social needs are also taken care of. However, empowerment is a powerful concept where you are not the provider for everything, you are only a facilitator, you are making them empowered enough to stand on their legs and actually make a difference for themselves. Empowerment is giving them the power, giving people the power to develop themselves and come up, to be able to be productive citizens.
So, what about subsidy? Is it good or bad? Giving subsidy is good or bad?
Sir, subsidies is, it can be said in both ways, sir, because on one side, subsidies in terms of giving subsidies for fuel, subsidies for food, PDS system has been working enormously, especially the PDS system has been the livelihood sector for a huge population, and that has done very good for our country as well. Whereas on the other side, subsidies has also been, the review is that it has also made people lazy. Bringing in food grains from there, some of it is used, most of it is wasted. There's so much of leakages and loopholes, and implementation has gone bad. So subsidies have not been worked in a few cases. So subsidies is, I think, subsidies, if it is targeted in the right to the right population, given with less leakages and pilferages, and reaching the people who really need it, then subsidies would be good.
So, UBI, right?
Sir?
UBI.
UBI.
Basic income.
Income basic income, sorry.
So, are you for it or against it? What about, are we ready to adopt UBI?
So UBI, if coming in, and if our subsidies are being reduced, they are eliminated for that matter, it gives money in the hands of the poor to utilize money in the way they want. You're guaranteeing the poor a minimum sustenance level. We will give you this money, you can utilize it the way you want. But the real question is, are the people of India, especially in the villages, illiterate, poor, are they having the capacity to correctly, judiciously utilize it for their well-being? Have we put in measures, or have we made them skilled enough or empowered enough to be able to make the right choice? That is the real question. Because if you give money in the hands of a poor villager, a man who has a family of 5, and if he utilizes that money for his own personal things and not use it for his family, then your UBI is not working in the right way. And how are we determining UBI is also a question. Are we actually going to be able to target it correctly, give it to the right people, and in what means? So if these measures can be made right, then yes.
Is India ready for UBI?
Sir, I think India has a few more time for it to be, I think it needs a few more measures to be put in place before this can be very effective.
What measures?
First being that we know that, we have to determine the poverty line correctly. We have to determine methods for giving the target.
UBI does not require poverty line.
Yes, that is.
It's universal.
It is universal. But who and how much level of income are you going to be giving to which sector? How much income is being given? I think that needs to be determined.
See, it's universal means you give some amount to all, irrespective of caste, creed, class,
Economic, whatever.
whatever.
In all account, 10 rupees deposited, that's it.
Sir, how does one size fit all work in a country like India? That is my question.
Okay, thank you.